Hello and welcome to our tarot video for the 22nd through the 28th of October 2023. This is a general reading for all signs, and this is also an astrological reading. Unlike a lot of other readers, well, everybody has their own system and their own style. Mine is based on the astrological houses, and I read first with a deck that is known as the Cartouche. And then secondarily, I also read with tarot. Today's deck is the Egyptian Tarot to go with our Egyptian Cartouche deck. And our extra oracle that we're going to have for the end of the day is the Essential Oil Oracle. So we're going to see what the influences are for this week. One of the advantages of doing it according to the astrological spread is that we can look at a lot of different influences for people based on the house, so we know what area of life it'll affect, and being that house has each house has multiple meanings, then I can give you a variety of possibilities that may apply to you. Again, remember, not everything I will say in each house is going to apply to you, so if it doesn't, don't take it for yourself. But this is basically looking at what the kind of general current or overview is for the week. If you enjoy the videos that I do, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment, especially if something that I say actually resonates with you. And, because I like to know that what I'm telling people actually is applying to them and is valid for them. So, okay, so this particular week, we have another eclipse coming up on Saturday. It is the lunar eclipse in Taurus at the full moon. And for people who are on the Taurus-Scorpio nodal axis, I happen to be one of those people, this eclipse is going to represent a particular ending for you. And the way that you know, let me just focus on this being a general reading. The way that you will know is if in your astrological chart, your north-south nodes are in the, in Taurus and in Scorpio. So typically we're looking at the 2nd or the 8th house, or wherever these happen to fall in your chart. Mine happens to fall like in the 11th, 5th house, kind of an axis. So wherever that is in your chart, if you have nodes in Taurus, Scorpio, then or if you have Taurus or Scorpio very prominently in your chart, this is in some area. This is going to represent an ending, an ending of something that started with the last eclipse cycle, and we moved into Taurus, Scorpio at the beginning of 2022, I think it was. So whatever was changing for you at the beginning of January 2022, we're now going to see that coming to an end at this point, and it will affect everybody differently. Okay, that's probably the major aspect for this week. So now I'm going to start looking at people's cards and what people need to know coming up for this week. Okay, so okay. All right. So we're going to start at the beginning, the most obvious place, and that is going to be with Aries. Now, when I say Aries, I don't mean people who are necessarily the sign of Aries. I mean, we're going to start with the house connected to Aries, which is the first house. And the first house of the astrological chart has to do with you. It has to do with your identity, how you present yourself to people, your own sense of identity and kind of making it in the world, how people see you, that kind of a thing, and what you are focused on, what your I don't want to say what your sun focus is, but it's basically just where your energy is, how you want to be seen by others. Okay, because we have another house, the 12th house of Pisces, which is about what you don't necessarily want others to see. So beginning here, now very interestingly, we have the Sphinx. The Sphinx is our very first card. And Sphinx, because I'm talking about this of being a house of people seeing who you are, this is literally about people not seeing who you are. Sphinx is about secrecy. It's about hiding things. It's about passivity, about standing back and saying, I don't want to be, I don't want to put myself out there. This is a very, Aries is Mars energy, so it's very active. So this is actually a very passive card. It's saying, let's wait and see. So that you may be in a mode of where you are going through changes and you're still trying to figure out exactly where you're going to end up, or quote unquote, who you're going to end up being by the time you go through these transformations. And there are a lot of people going through very significant transformations right now. It's showing up in a lot of people's charts. Again, this nodal axis I was talking about with the eclipse is certainly one of them. And these are things that can bring very great and unexpected surprises to us. So I feel like the general advice here is, if you're looking to make big changes, if you are, rebranding yourself, so to speak, whether literally or figuratively, making some kind of a change or upgrade, it's maybe saying really two things. One, there may be more to be revealed here. You may be uncovering more things about yourself, but also there's a sense of wait and see. Maybe at a time when you want to hang back and not make too many substantial changes this particular week or right now. Now we have this with the Queen of Pentacles. Excuse me. The Queen of Pentacles is a very solid, grounded, earthy kind of a figure. The Queen of Pentacles, we can see she's got this kind of sun shining on her. She's looking at the lotus flower that's in her hand. This is the idea of somebody who is focused on what they have, rather than, ambitious maybe for what they don't want. And this is the sense of, there's a very warm sense of security with the Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who people feel safe and comfortable around. So you may be projecting this sort of grounded, safe, comfortable image to people, or maybe that is the kind of thing you want to aspire to right now. Like there's a sense of, Pentacle cards are about growth, and they're about slow growth in particular. They can indicate financial success and things like that. There's definitely a sense here that you are, I feel like this is in the midst of change. I feel like it's telling you to stay grounded, keep yourself comfortable, keep yourself, happy with what, perhaps even what you're familiar with, because you will be moving into the realm of the unfamiliar. So make sure your feet are solidly on the ground and that you are feeling solid and secure in yourself, and wait and see where things are going to go. Our second house is Taurus, and this is financial, and it also has to do with our values. This is the house of Venus. And we're starting with the crook and flail. So somebody needs to get disciplined with their money. This can also mean an upgrade for some people. This might mean, if you have a job, it could mean a promotion, it could mean a raise. There's generally always an upgrade. There's also a sense of confidence that comes with this card. So this may be urging you to move forward confidently, to not be insecure, to feel that you're secure in your values. And we have this with the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles, there's definitely a strong work component here. Eight of Pentacles has to do with mastery of something. It has to do with what you are working hard at and what you feel comfortable with, what you've mastered. So with the Eight of Pentacles here combined with the crook and flail, there's definitely the sense of it's time to be organized, practical, get to work. Focus on your finances, focus on what skills and expertise you have, that will build your finances. Must be a very allergy-ridden morning here. Now, the other thing, though, I've noticed is that the number on this card is 17. 1 plus 7 adds up to 8, and this card is also 8. And 8s, we're not quite at a stage of completion yet, but we are well on our way. The 8s represent this. We've moved past the conflicts and the illusions of the 7s, And now we are starting to move into a place where we know what we want and what we don't want. And of course, the Eight of Pentacles has to do with what we are confident in, like what we're confident that we know and that we can share with others. So again, we have this idea of sharing. So to me, this is definitely a suggestion this week to stay practical, grounded, not get too airy and unfocused. This is a good time to think about your finances and think about what your goals are and where you're going with that. Our third house is the house of Gemini. And this has to do with our communications, short trips, relationships with our siblings, and also anything to do with communication, technology. This Gemini energy is fast moving. It's a little more superficial. It's not like the deep knowledge that we see in the ninth house, which has to do with higher learning. This is more superficial stuff that you know. Could be trivial stuff, or it could just be things that are more conventional and more on the surface. And okay, so we have Nephthys. Okay, so this has to do with, okay, this could be communications that have not yet been received. That's the first thing that's jumping into my mind. Nephthys has to do with something that has not occurred yet. And it also may indicate, again, just kind of like Sphinx over here in the first house, there's a sense here with Nephthys that there's information that we don't have yet. So there's a communication that you have yet to receive, I feel, with certain people. Now, sometimes this is a card that has to do with sisters. So for some people, there could be something connected to somebody's sister, if that applies. And we have it with the King of Chalices or the King of Cups. So King of Cups is like, for some people, this could be a love message. You could be waiting for a message from a loved one or from somebody who you are, somebody who has feelings for you, or this could be you. I mean, who knows? But I think usually my feeling is that this would be another person, like waiting for a message from another person. If it's not a message of love, then it would be a message potentially from somebody who's a water sign or just somebody to whom you have some kind of an emotional attachment. But Nephthys also is about not being obvious. So again, just like the Sphinx in the first house, it may also be saying that, you know, there also may be a need to hold back again on certain communications or doing certain things until you have more information about something. Until I feel like what's in my mind is it's like wait till after the eclipse. Like there's a 7 on here. I feel like 7 days. Like get past the eclipse next Saturday before making important communications or maybe making moves, maybe particularly in love. But you know, there just may be something here that we haven't quite gotten to yet, that we haven't quite that still remains to be revealed. And now here, this is interesting. When I'm doing the fourth house, this is the house of Cancer, and so this has to do with your home, your environment, your sense of security, and who you are. And again, this is really strange because you have Urias here, and Urias is like Sphinx. It's like Nephthys. It has to do with those things that are unexpected. So it seems like there's going to be something unexpected in the area of the home. This usually has to do, or has to do with something unexpected or a situation that is not, how do I put it? It's a situation that we think something is going to go a particular way, but that things may not turn out in the way that we expect. There could be something unexpected. It could be unexpected news connected to our home, which could have to do with our physical home, could do with a home project. If you're moving or thinking of buying a home, there could be something unexpected around that. But Urias to me is not usually a negative. It may indicate a need for caution. It can indicate a need to be careful, and you know, there may be, again, just like with Sphinx in the first house and Nephthys in the third, there's this sense of not reaching out and not communicating about something yet, not jumping the gun with what's the thing, don't put the cart before the horse. Like, I feel like there's just something going on here. Some communication people are waiting for, some change that's going to happen, something that's either going to affect your literal home or a place you're living, or is going to affect your sense of what makes you feel secure. And we have it with the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles to me is, this is a card, this is a waiting game. There's a sense that something is coming and it's still in the process of getting here. It's not here yet. So don't feel like you are, there's certain things that there's definitely this sense of not making a move. I also feel like with the fourth house, I feel like that can also bring messages too. This is the house of the mother. So for some people, this could actually have to do with somebody's mother, just as this had to maybe do with somebody's sister. It could be a family thing that's going on that you're waiting to see how it comes out. And it may have to do with house or property, and it may, I don't know, it's going to resonate differently for everybody. But I'm hearing something about mother in my mind as well. So I feel like that might apply to some people. Nonetheless, again, there's this sense this week of don't, you want to stay grounded. Don't make too many assumptions yet. It seems like there's going to be changes or things happenings or shakeups or something that's going to change the playing field. On the positive side, though, I'm looking through this reading and I'm not seeing any cards of crisis. So what that says to me is whatever it is, it's not necessarily a negative change. It's just something that may surprise you. You may have been moving in a particular direction, thinking you're going to do something a certain way. And what this says to me is that, wait, the seeds are still growing. Like Seven of Pentacles is things are still growing. We haven't seen the harvest yet. You may be in a position with the Seven of Pentacles of saying, looking at what is growing so far and saying, is this worth the harvest? Is the harvest is it gonna come down to what I, is this harvest gonna come down to what I, is it worth the effort that I'm putting into it? I guess is the way you want to say it. And is this something I should abandon? But right now, it's not telling you to abandon anything. It's saying, wait and see. There's stuff happening with regard to you, your visibility, potentially your family, potentially your home. There's stuff going on. Okay. Fifth house. Fifth house has to do with your creativity, has to do with love affairs, has to do with children if you happen to have children or you want to have children. And also your leisure time, what you do in your downtime, what you do to relax. And okay, so we have the Buckle of Isis here. This is actually the second week in a row this has shown up. So pregnancy definitely affects somebody who's watching this reading, because this fifth house, Buckle of Isis, is a card of fertility, and it is in the house of children. So when this card shows up here, for somebody out there, obviously not for everybody, but there's going to be some people out here, if you're somebody who is looking to be pregnant or wondering about somebody who's pregnant, this is usually a pretty clear sign that somebody is. Now, if we're not dealing with pregnancy here, this is a card that has to do with sacrifices that we make or efforts that we make that are rewarded. So in other words, you put the work in and you're going to yield results. This could have to do with a love affair or a relationship. It could also have to do with a creative project. You could be feeling tired and drained. You could be saying, again, there's this idea of, is something worth the effort? This to me says, yeah, something is worth the effort here. Whatever you're putting out right now, you're going to be rewarded. You're going to get back. And we have the Three of Wands with that. Now, I don't know why this is coming into my head, but for some people, this actually means something yielding fruit in 3 weeks. Okay, that's not everybody. But there's going to be something. So again, whether it's a creative project, whether you're trying to figure out about a relationship. Interestingly, if I look over here and see this King of Cups over here, for some people, it could be saying, wait and see, something that's going on with the relationship that may seem like maybe it's not worth the effort. You're going to see something in about 3 weeks. So that's a possible interpretation of this. If that doesn't apply, then this can also be a card of collaboration. Waiting for a sign, like you're looking. Usually this shows somebody, at least in the Rider-Waite deck, of somebody looking out across the shore, like standing there. There's 3 wands. They're holding onto one, and they're looking out at the ships at sea. So there's the idea of waiting for your ship to come in. And this is actually saying, if you've put the work in, if you've created the foundation, and to continue, not to give up on what you're doing here. Like this, whatever this is going to come in. It's interesting because I have 3 7s here too. This adds up to 7. I have a 7 here and I have a 7 here. So again, the numbers 7, 8, and 3 are significant so far for somebody. So again, take this as it resonates. If this could have to do with you personally in a project, it doesn't necessarily just have to do with having children. For some people, this may actually be about their actual children. You know, maybe there's something that, you know, you're waiting to see if, you know, something your child has put an effort into is going to come to fruition. Yeah, and there's definitely the sense of, you know, waiting for this ship to come in, but it's suggesting that the efforts you're making are worth it. Okay, 6th house is Virgo, and this has to do with your health, your anxiety. It would have to do with your job. Now, when I say job as opposed to career. Sometimes your job and career are the same thing. But if you're somebody who does one thing to make money, and then you have another thing that, you know, is more what you want to do when you grow up, right? What you want to do, that's not just something you do to make money. But this has more to do with job. And also service to others. In some cases, this may have to do with animals for some people, because this is the house of domestic animals. So yeah, the Virgo covers a lot of this territory. And Virgo does tend to have to do with worry, because Virgo is a sign that is very organized, very detail oriented. And the potential negative of that is being overly perfectionist about things. So we have Scarab here. So there is a change. There is a new beginning. For some people, this may have to do with, does that have to do with health? Some people might be starting a new diet, a new health regimen, you know, making a change to make themselves feel better. It could be suggesting that things you are worried about. It may be saying that that there are changes coming, or there could be changes coming within a job. Scarab always brings change. Something ends, something begins. It has like an element of the death card in the tarot. So the Scarab is about this kind of rebirth or making a change. It may also be advising you to make a change to something if you are in a situation where you are concerned and you don't think, you don't like where you're at, or you know, you don't like your job, or you're not satisfied with how you feel. This would be advising you to make some changes. Now we have it with the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is somebody who brings, it's a Gemini energy. It's somebody who brings absolute clarity to something. There may be, it could be, like I said, it could be a worry about a person. A King of Swords is somebody who brings clear and direct information. The King of Swords can also be somebody who is knowledgeable, like an expert in something, like a professor or maybe a legal person. So that might apply to some people. King of Swords can also be somebody who's a critic as well. So this could be you taking a long, hard look at yourself and at the things that you're concerned about. You know, you could be making an evaluation, or there could be somebody else coming in, whether they're, you know, again, King of Swords is associated with air signs, doesn't have to be. But there's definitely this sense of perhaps a third person or an outside party who might offer, you know, a critique or advice or something that may precipitate a change, or maybe will assist in a change. But either way, there's this definite sense of making a change once you have clarity, once you know what's going on. King of Swords is also quite detached. So this is not really an emotional thing. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of cutting through in almost a very cold kind of a way. But King of Swords, in my experience, does not have to be cold. It can just be somebody who's very, very knowledgeable. Okay. All right, so 7th house. This is the house of Libra, and this has to do with your partnerships. It can have to do with a marriage if you're married, or if you're looking to be married. It can also have to do with business partnerships and other partnerships that are like that. I mean, this is not particularly necessarily a house of friendship per se, or even family relationships, but occasionally it is. I mean, that's not the particular thing associated with this house. And being it's Libra, it also may have to do with legal matters, because Libra is the scales. So there could be an element of justice to this as well. Okay, so now we have Horus. And Horus is the card of, well, this is a very charismatic card. It's a popular person. If you are looking for love, this could indicate that you're very, very magnetic. This does have to do with healing, sometimes with family connections as well. But I think there's this sense of, having the strength to kind of draw in the right people at the right time. This could also represent an outside person, potentially, who has that, have that way about them, that has that charisma, who you may be partnering with. For some people, it could be love. For other people, Horus may have to do with business partnerships. Something in which you're working with somebody on something. And I'm trying to remember what sign is associated with Horus in particular. I can't remember all the astrologicals for Cartouche. Some of them I know. And this one I can't quite remember. Anyway, I'm not going to fret over that. But the card we have with it is the Devil. Okay. So the Devil can indicate a couple of things. It can indicate a relationship in which there is a lot of lust. Okay, because the Devil has to do with that sensuality. So it could be, you could have somebody who's obsessed. Okay, like again, if you have this charisma card here, somebody could be drawn in by your charisma. But the Devil can also indicate being obsessed or addicted. It could be you or it could be another person. Okay, you have to figure out where that is. But there's this a sense, in the relationship house, I would suggest that this means a relationship that you have to either be careful of not being obsessed or dealing with someone who's obsessed, or not, there's almost an addiction factor here, or a manipulation factor. Like somebody is, somebody may be trying to manipulate you into something, or somebody just may be very attached to you in a way that you need to make sure that, is it healthy? Is the attachment healthy? Some of you might be obsessing over a person. I mean, that could well be the thing as well. But Horus, I feel if that's the case, then Horus kind of indicates that, I feel like Horus almost means here, like, you're good enough as you are. You don't need to obsess over whether a person likes you for who you are, or, is going to like this or that or the other thing about you, and do you have to make changes, or do you have to monitor every single thing that they do, or whatever. I feel like Horus is just kind of like, be confident in your own power and of who you are. So that may apply for some people, but generally speaking, it's the idea of watch out for ties that bind, so to speak, and make sure, Horus has a lot to do with confidence and heroics and things like that. And so it kind of indicates that you have what it takes to do things on your own. Don't lose yourself in a particular situation. Again, whether we're talking business, love, or any other kind of significant partnership. There may be something unhealthy going on there, so you just need to be aware of that. Okay, 8th house is Scorpio. And Scorpio has to do with, that's the house of transformation, life, death, sex, the occult, and other people's money. Those are the main features of that particular house. And we have Bast, we have Bastet. So Bastet is the happiness card. It's also the card of intuition. It has to do with happiness, singing, dancing, music, if that applies for some people. But I feel like in the house of transformation, there's definitely a need to be cautious, and also a need to focus more on your intuition than on your reason, probably because of everything that we're seeing in this half of the reading, which tells us that we don't have all the information yet. So we may be in the middle of a transformation and trying to decide on our path, but without all the information, all we can do is trust our inner guidance. We can't make an entirely logical decision about what we're doing because we don't have all the information. Now we have it with the Strength card, and here Strength has to do with, okay, there's two possibilities with Strength. One could indicate that you have been enduring a situation for a while, and you are, you might be tired, but Strength would indicate having the strength to get through something. But Strength can also show up when we are restraining ourselves from something. So I feel like here, there's this idea that same thing I'm seeing here. Move forward with caution right now. Follow your intuition. Look before you leap. There may be something that you feel very strongly about that you're ready to dash forward, and it may be saying, hold back for right now. Hold back and wait and see what these changes bring. Because again, this reading is only going up through the eclipse. We'll have to look at next week and see what's happening after the eclipse. But yeah, there's definitely a need here to rely more on your instinctual knowing, because there's a lot of facts that we might use to analyze and determine how we're going to handle a situation that just aren't present to us right now. So hang tight. Okay, ninth house. Ninth house has to do with that's Sagittarius energy, and it has to do with this is the house I was saying of deeper knowledge. So it's higher education, philosophy, religion, like things that have to do with the deeper questions and deeper knowledge of life, whatever that is for you, whatever your life narrative, philosophy, whatever that is. It also has to do with long distance travel and with legal matters, with courts and things like that. So we have the Lotus card here. So this is a card that usually comes up when there's an anxiety about something. So for some people, you might be anxious about something going on at school. Somebody could have exams, or there could be some other kind of issue from somebody perhaps who's away at school, or who's currently in school. It can also have to do again with a trip. It can have to do with something like that. There's some kind of an anxiety around something, and this is basically telling you not to worry. It could also be if we're talking our view of life, or what our narrative is, or what we, the way we think things are, right? A lot of people, not everybody negotiates change the same way. And so I feel like some of these changes here, for at least some people, may be rattling them in terms of what you've always believed to be true about the world, or about people, or about situations. You may feel like something is, there's a little bit of a cataclysm there. Something is falling apart to some degree, but Lotus is saying not to worry about it. In fact, it's also kind of pointing to a little bit of peaceful continuity, at least for a short period of time. It's basically, the message of the card is don't worry. It implies that you are worrying about something, but don't worry. Everything is a matter of kind of go with the flow. Listen to your inner guidance. Listen to your feelings. We have this with the Nine of Pentacles. So this is about money. This is about financial independence. Okay, Nine of Pentacles is the person. 10 of Pentacles is somebody who maybe inherits or has a legacy. There's some connection of that to family and to other people. Nine of Pentacles is more about what you do on your own. So for some people, this worry may be financial, like whether or not you can afford college, or some people, if you're going to be able to afford to make a trip or something, there could be some kind of financial worry. Or there could just be concerns around security in general. We've seen some of that down here. Are the things I'm putting my effort into going to yield fruit? I mean, is this a waste of my time? Should I be doing something different? And so to see the Nine of Pentacles here tells me that, financial independence, security, abundance, having enough to share, back to our Queen of Pentacles here, that's something that's coming. So this is literally saying if you're worried about security connected to these kinds of things, then don't worry. It's going to be fine. Okay, 10th house is Capricorn. And okay, Capricorn, 10th house has to do with reputation, fame, status, how you make your way in the world. So it has more to do with your career than with your job, as I had said earlier. And wow, so you've got Capricorn's an earth sign, and you have the earth card. This is very good for people who are moving into a career. This suggests a lucrative career, okay? This making money at something, being able to pull the cash in. But this would also indicate, through your reputation, fame, status, or whatever it is you're doing as a career, or whatever you might be choosing, especially if there's going to be a new beginning here that we're seeing in the 6th house for some people. This is definitely indicating money coming in with your new choice. And we have it with the 7 of Wands. So yeah, there's definitely somebody who is in a position where they're perhaps making a change. Maybe they're going to leave a job and try to do something on their own financially. Maybe there are people who are giving them pushback saying, oh no, you shouldn't do that. You've got the secure thing, like don't do that. 7 of Wands indicates that you need to stand your ground. Okay, there's a strong feeling here that you have to defend yourself in some way. You have to defend what you're building and what you're investing in. And Earth would remind you to keep your feet on the ground. with regard to it, to be practical, to keep your feet on the ground. But again, it also seems to indicate that you are moving into the right thing. You are moving into the thing that's going to provide you with the security. And it's interesting because now we have two sevens opposing each other. So for some people, this to me indicates something with regard to job, career, security, maybe financial security that's going to happen in the next 7 days to 7 weeks. 7 weeks feels more like it's right for me, but something happening in 7 weeks. That's going to apply for somebody. Again, not for everybody, but I did feel like that is relevant in certain situations. So yeah, I feel like somebody here is concerned about financial stability, about maybe striking it out on their own or making a change to do something truer to who they are and what they want to offer to the world. And this is basically saying, stand your ground on that. Because even if right now it seems like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, I don't see how it's going to work, I feel like there's a sense of, no, it's coming. Everything is showing that there's just something, yeah. And again, it's another 7. There's all these 7s. We're working our way up to the 10, to the completion of something. So yeah, so don't worry, stand your ground on whatever it is you're working towards. 11th house is Aquarius and Aquarian energy. And this has to do with friends, has to do with our social networks, perhaps even our business networks, and our goals, our ambitions. And we have Isis here. Okay. Yeah. Isis, again, High Priestess energy here. This is the energy of not having all of the information yet. There's an energy of something is hidden. But this is also the energy of nurturing, of self-care, and also of patience. When you're trying to reach a goal, this could have to be with, persevere patiently. If we're talking friendships, this is a very motherly card. So it could be somebody a friendship that's very nurturing, or a person in your life who has kind of a motherly quality who might be important to you right now. And we have it with the Hermit. So yeah, the Hermit is about withdrawing. I mean, if this is about networks, this may be about stepping back and trying to figure your stuff out, okay? Trying to figure things out. And I think in this case, with Isis, then it may be, again, like with the Sphinx here, with Nephthys, with all this, again, there may be this sense of needing to take in all the information, step back. Again, step back. Don't rush forward in trying to accomplish things this week. Definitely the theme this week. This is a week to kind of wait things out and see what happens by the end of the week. Okay, 12th house is Pisces energy. As I mentioned earlier, this has to do with what's hidden, what you don't necessarily show people, what you may be afraid of, okay? And wow, you have the Ankh and the 10 of Cups. This is one of the wish cards. This is definitely about family, community, coming together, satisfaction. This is the culmination of the suit of cups. And as such, it is that emotional wish fulfillment. And you have it with the card of joy, really. I mean, Ankh is about joy, about living life. So in this particular house, okay, this could be, there's a lot of this is sublimated. So there could be fears about this. There could be, something may look like a wish fulfillment, and you may be saying, well, is this really what it looks like? But like unconsciously, that's what this says to me. Like you may be having these sort of external doubts about things based on external information that you have right now, but something inside of you knows this is about moving towards your joy. For some people, this is coming into my mind, may have to do with foreign travel. If you are somebody who in all of this are thinking about moving abroad or something like that, this is kind of indicating a wish fulfillment or something coming up in that vein. And again, that's not going to apply to everybody, but that kind of comes into my mind that it may apply to some people because the 12th house is the house of foreign travel. So there's definitely a sense here of, there may be worries about whether or not you can have the thing that you want. And I feel like this is a reassurance that you can. And unconsciously, that. That you're moving towards the right thing, even if all the externals aren't lining up at the moment. Okay, overall, we have, we've got the twins. Okay, this is our center card. Which is a house. This has to do with partnerships, and we have it with the Ace of Cups. So for some people, Ace of Cups definitely has to do with a new relationship of some kind. And if not a new relationship, it is some kind of a new and satisfying start that will involve other people, involve the support of other people, perhaps even somebody you're going to partner up with who's going to help you with all of these things, whether that person be a mentor, whether that person be a marriage partner or a love partner, or whether that person is just a very good friend who is able to help you negotiate some of these things, or a family member. But nonetheless, with that Ace of Cups, there's definitely the sense that a new beginning is coming, and it seems to touch on a lot of different areas of life. For different people, it's going to depend, where that new beginning is coming. But certainly with these, it definitely resonates with eclipse season, because as things move out for a lot of people, and I'm seeing for a lot of people changes in finance, maybe changes in home, changes at work, getting out of bad relationships, or getting unstuck from bad relationship patterns, and learning, making your own way in the world the way that you want to, making your own status, fame, and reputation the way that you want to, without other people trying to sow doubt. So yeah, there's definitely this opening up that's occurring here, and that's coming. Like what's going to happen by the end of this week is going to represent a new start, and this is when we're going to start opening up, perhaps, and working with other people, or other people will come in. Like these messages we're waiting for, ultimately part of what we may be waiting for is that there may be others along the way who are either going to help us or work with us, or just take the journey with us. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is do the essential oil oracle. We're just going to grab one other message for today. I've got somehow I always keep all my cards upright, and somehow these are not all upright, but there's no reversals in this deck, so it really doesn't matter. Okay. So let's see what our extra message is, our last message. And the essential oil is the metabolic oil, is the one it's referring to. The here's what the card looks like. And the statement, the word at the top is self-worth. The trigger statement, I am disgusting. The true statement, I am a miracle. Okay, so this has to do, obviously, with self-worth, self-esteem. It says, please be gentle and love yourself. Provide your body-mind with what it truly needs to carry you on your journey. Okay, so this suggests to me that for some people, you may be being very hard on yourself. You may be overly critical. You may be berating yourself. I mean, we did see that King of Swords in the 6th house. That sometimes that is somebody being overly critical of themselves. And this may be saying, like, don't do that. Like, be gentle on yourself. You may be going through a lot of changes, or you may not actually be seeing yourself as you really are. So there's definitely a good omen that you can be confident in where you're going and in what you're doing. I mean, we have the Crook and Flail here. We have the 7 of Wands here. This is all definitely things that's saying you can be confident in yourself and what you're doing. So that is our final message of the day. Thanks so much for watching again this week, and I'll see you all next week.